We have to trust that she will know what to do, Tripp said without skipping a beat, just as I had to trust that your mother would know what to do when you came. I wasn't left in a basket by her door, Nora said, but for a moment she wondered. They'd never talked about this. No, you weren't, Tripp said. He roughed up Lucy's bunches of dark hair, and she opened her mouth wide. You could see 2 teeth pushing through the gums. Her eyes were sparkles. The last time I saw a baby with eyes like that, it was you, Tripp said. I see what you mean, Nora said, touching Lucy's hands with her fingertips. I wasn't with a crack whore, but I was a bastard. Lucy rolled over on her belly. The Afghan was bunching up under her as she started to scoop. She likes us, Nora said. She likes it outdoors, Tripp said. Babies always do. He took Lucy up in his arms and stood, lifting her high. It must have felt like flying. They drove to the townhouse. It was Saturday, so Tamara was most certainly at home. Tripp pulled over when they were about a block from the house. It has to be you, he said. You have to be the one to bring her. Nora nodded. She unbuckled the car seat. We're going home, Nora told Lucy. Okay, honey? She walked with the baby on her hip. Lucy fit there just right, like a piece to a puzzle. Nora hugged her tight and then released. The baby rested her head against Nora's breast. The only time Nora had been here was in the night of mooncakes, and she'd never been inside. It felt important. She rang the bell. She tried to remember if she'd met Lucy the dog that night or only seen her when they were spying. The dog didn't bark. Tamara answered the door right away. She was wearing jeans and a fuzzy, cream-colored sweater. She looked angelic, like Grace Kelly. Nora? Hi, Tamara. Come in, she said, opening the door wider. And who is this? Nora stood for a while, once in the doorway, holding Lucy. The room was kind of dark. There was a pile of dirty clothes beside an old television in the corner. The sofa was beautiful, though, soft orange shot through with golden threads. Sit down, Nora, Tamara said. Do you want a Coke? But Nora kept standing. Lucy was twirling her fists and making siren noises now. Tamara walked to the kitchen, which was open to the living area, and poured 2 glasses of iced water. She hadn't really looked at the baby yet. Where's the dog? Nora asked. She sat down on the sofa with Lucy in her lap. Tamara hadn't looked over at the baby much at all. Lucy leaned forward, reaching for something on the coffee table. Nora held her tight. She didn't want to let go of her. Oh, Tamara said, she died. She died 2 days ago. I buried her in the yard. She sipped from the glass of water, looking over the room at her guests. Well, she said, and sighed. She was old. Yeah, and too fat, Nora said. She came to me that way, Tamara said. I guess you could say she found me. They sipped their ice waters, and finally Tamara said, Why are you here, Nora, without your uncle, and why did you bring this baby? Nora took another sip of her water. It wasn't hard with Lucy in her arms. It was like she belonged there, and Nora could feel when the baby was going to reach for something. But then Lucy reached for the glass, and when Nora pulled it away, it spilled cold water down her arm. Her hands started to shake, and Lucy made a little cry. Tamara sat there beside them, her back straight, waiting. You look nice, Nora said. Were you about to go out? Tamara didn't answer, just crossed her legs, settling back on the sofa. This baby, Nora said. She's Lucy, Tamara. She is Lucy. As if on cue, Lucy opened her mouth wide and said, Ah. Tamara's face broke. Lucy looked up at it and started to cry. That was when Tamara took the baby in her arms, kissed the top of her head, stood and bounced her gently, saying, Oh, oh, oh. She's ours, Nora said. We found her, me and Tripp. She's all of ours. She came to us and we found her. We found her. But Lucy was crying harder now, burrowing her head into Tamara's lap. In a moment, they were all in an embrace, the soft sweater against Nora's wet face, and they were all crying, the 3 of them. The baby was rooting for Tamara's breasts, pounding with her little balled-up fists. When they finally broke apart, Nora could see Tamara's face all screwed up and red, ugly with tears, her nose slightly running. She was crying as hard as the baby. You have to take her, Nora, Tamara said. And when she handed the baby back, Nora saw that her chest was red and scratched. The baby cried for a long time against Nora before she passed out all of a sudden, and the crying stopped. Nora kept her eyes down on Lucy. Her hair was sweating, and she slept with her arms hanging straight out. When Tamara spoke this, it was with the well-modulated professional voice she used in the library.